Hey folks. I thought we would talk about some of my movies that I have in my we'll call it the Schmiterion collection closet. So, yeah, I figured I like to talk about movies. I have a YouTube channel and I love to yap. And if you love to listen, keep listening. I figure we can go through and I'll pick out some movies and I'll yap about them for a little bit. And because I could do what I damn well please. If you're kind of already looking at what I have on these first three shelves, I think you can kind of tell like what my preference is in movies, like even my favorite subgenre. And if you know me in real life, you know what my favorite subgenre is already. So I made some notes about some movies I really, really, really want to talk about, and some that I just like originally picked out because this is my second time filming. And it's not something that I would normally like want to talk about. Like I have favorites over here that I will happily spend hours and hours discussing, even if it's just to myself, like a nutcase. And then there's some that I never bring up in conversation if I'm talking to someone at a party, even though I don't go to many parties. So yeah, let's jump on in. So the first movie we're going to talk about is Chronicle. I normally don't really talk about this movie to a lot of people. This movie came out in like 2012, and I didn't watch it until like 2017. 2017 is when Gore Verbinski's A Cure for Wellness came out, and let me tell you, I saw the trailer for that and I fell in love with the movie at the start. I waited and waited until it came out on DVD to purchase it, to watch it for the first time, which we're going to see is an ongoing trend for me. I love going to movie theaters. I love the movie theater experience, but there are a couple movies just here that I wait until it comes out on DVD to figure out if I like it or not. And if I end up not liking it, I have another movie in my collection. So A Cure for Wellness came out in like 2017, and I watched it, bought the movie and watched it for the first time at home, and I fell in love with it. There was a span of like, for 2 whole weeks, the movie just constantly played in the DVD player. In a span of 2 weeks, I watched it, I believe it was like 16, 17 times, which means one of the days I at least had to watch it more than once. And it got to the point where I could put the movie on mute and just quote the movie start to finish pretty much as it played. That's how much I loved that movie. But more so, I loved Dane DeHaan. I thought he was handsome, and I liked him as an actor. And when I found out he was in a found footage movie, I immediately bought it and watched it. And it was all right. It was fine. It's a pretty cool take on, like, if you got superpowers, what would you do if you were just like a teenage boy who had superpowers? Yeah. I enjoyed it. I don't hate it, and I don't like not like it, but I don't really watch this that often. And the main reason I watched it was like 2 of my favorite things at the time, Dane DeHaan, and then still one of my favorite things, found footage, mixed together into one. I recommend it. If you're looking for something different, you haven't watched it, I recommend it. I swear I'm going to get better as we go along. I'm going to be a little bit more hype about some of these other movies. Ghostwatch. We're going to talk about Ghostwatch. Ghostwatch was awesome. This was actually like a live broadcast back in 1992 for BBC. So this is a British production. That's my really shitty British accent. I'm sorry. You would think my like years of watching Dan and Phil, I would be able to produce a British accent, but no, can't do it. So Ghostwatch came out 1992, BBC on TV, and it was a live production, live broadcast, baby, live broadcast. And it was heavily inspired by the Enfield poltergeist. If you guys don't know what that's all about, it was like a family in the UK that was haunted by a poltergeist, and they did an investigation. If you've seen Conjuring 2, which in my opinion is better than Conjuring 1, that's my take. That's my take. Yell at me all you want in the comments. That's my take. That's basically it's Conjuring 2. If you've seen it, that's pretty much the dynamic. A small family is being like harassed by a poltergeist and ends up getting like media attention. So in this one, it's like the studio sends over some investigators to kind of interview and talk about like what it's like for this family. It's like a mom and like 3 or 4 kids, and yeah, it's wild. You get some skeptics that are like, that's not real. You get some people, people were able to call in and like discuss like some of their ghost stories and what's going on, what did they believe, and stuff starts hitting the fan. And it was so wild. I heard about this from a YouTube video, and I thought it was just the coolest. Like, it came up in my feed, this, oh God, who was it? Hold on. I'm looking something up because I don't want to not give this person credit because they're the reason I found Ghostwatch. The YouTuber Inside a Mind did a video about Ghostwatch, and it just happened to show up in my feed, and I clicked on it, and when he was discussing everything, I was like, okay, I'm sold. I was working a new job, and my first paycheck, it went to buying this. It was so nice to pop that in my Blu-ray player and just enjoy it. My next Schmiterion collection pick is a very big pick, like 8 movies big pick. It's my Paranormal Activity collection. Now, if there's one thing you need to know about me other than my love for art and my love for movies, it's that if I truly love a movie franchise, and if it's most likely found footage, I have several copies of the same movie because I eat it up. So this was it wasn't my purchase. My fiance got it for me. Thanks, Nash. My fiance got this for me as a Christmas gift 2 years ago. But all of these, oh, come on, were originally my collection of Paranormal Activity. So I own a lot of copies of, mainly, I own 3 copies of Paranormal Activity 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then I own multiples of 6 and 7. Let me just make sure I'm not missing. Nope, I'm not missing anything. Okay. So I'll go through the order. Am I missing? I'm missing. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. No, I'm losing my mind. So this was my first. I should preface this with, the 4th movie was getting ready to come out or already came out by the time I discovered like I could watch Paranormal Activity. I was like 12. So I was very scared. I couldn't even watch I couldn't even be in the same room as a trailer. I couldn't even be in the same room as the trailer when the Paranormal Activity like trailers would play on TV. I'd have to like step, like I was just getting into horror when I decided to go to my local Hollywood Video and rent 1 and 3 because I didn't know at the time that they were like all connected. Spoiler alert, but they've been out for a while. They're all like connected, okay, y'all? Except for like the 7th one, all connected. I don't think they would have rented it to me. Maybe they would have. I don't know. They're all rated R. So yeah, my friend was a little bit older than me. Was able to it was a family friend, and they were able to rent it for me so I could get scared shitless. Paranormal Activity was 1 and 3. I completely skipped 2 because I don't think 2 was available, and it was a start of a very long love of found footage for me. I was so terrified with the third one, and it was so much fun. And then I bought this years later. I think I watched, like, they were on TV or whatever. They would show up on TV every once in a while, and that's how I watched the other ones. Like, they'd show up on, like, AMC, and I would start watching them, and they were just everything to me. They were everything. So much fun. I would be sitting, like, watching them like this. It's so cool. I wish I could, like, rediscover them again and rediscover, like, the lore. It would be so much fun. So, this was my first, like, purchase from the franchise. It was the 5 movie collection. That's when there were only 5 movies. That was it. And then I bought this before I even watched it to see if I even wanted it in the collection. I just knew I was going to have it either way. I bought Ghost Dimension, and Ghost Dimension was, in my opinion, a flop. An utter flop, but, you know, I'm showing up for those movies. I'm at least putting in money to buy the disc, you know? Then I bought this because I got a Blu-ray player. I bought the 6 movie collection because there's only 6, and I thought, that's it. They're not going to release a new one. This is the final collector edition, basically, of it. Little did I know, they came out with a 7th one straight to Paramount Plus, and it's the reason I have a Paramount Plus account still, because I bought the Paramount Plus account, I bought the subscription to watch it, and then I can't complain, so I kept it. And notice how a lot of these are, like, just the DVD, because I was like, oh, well, now I'm at the point where this is the last one. I'll wait until they come out with the collector's edition of all of them on, like, Blu-ray or whatever, and then they come out with a new one. Yeah, that's me. That's my life. Then they announced this, and it came with the documentary. The documentary I watched the day it came out on Shudder. That's just the kind of person you're going to find out that I am. And I think this is it. But I'm just saying, if they want to make another Paranormal Activity, if they want to reboot the franchise again, I'm not going to complain. And you know my paycheck's going to go towards it. But yes, I love Paranormal Activity. And who knows? Maybe, just maybe, I will do a ranking of all 7 movies. Who knows? Maybe I will. If you're looking forward to that, let me know. And even if you're not, it's probably still going to happen. Ooh, which one am I picking? I'm picking Host. Host came out at the perfect time. Perfect execution during the perfect time. Much like my all-time favorite movie, which I will be talking about at the end, saving the best for last. Host is like Unfriended, where it takes place all on a computer screen. All on a Skype call, but it was on a Zoom call when COVID was happening, and it was awesome to have something like this during such a very odd time. Rob Savage directed it, and it was just a utter blast. And one of my favorite things, I'm not going to spoil it, but if you kind of get the gist, it's like a group of people hop on Zoom, group of friends, hop on Zoom and decide to do a seance. And since it's a horror movie, things start happening. I won't say what, because if you haven't seen this, I do recommend it. Even after COVID, I believe it still holds up. So one of my favorite things about this movie is the credits. At one point, the credits, they're like scrolling through the credits and everything. It is literally like a list of Zoom contacts. And I thought that was so innovative and so creative, so awesome. And I'm a sucker for those kind of details. Host, highly recommend. I had a blast watching it. All right, we're gonna take a a little detour from horror, and we're going to talk about a movie that's a little, it's not very well liked, it seems, especially online. And from some of the people I talked about, they were like, no. Mainly because there's also like a remake that's been out and it's highly successful and has been like nominated for Oscars. So we're talking about David Lynch's Dune. I love it. I love it. It was my intro to Dune. It was my introduction to Dune, and I love Dune. Directed by David Lynch. This is my story about how I discovered Dune and David Lynch's Dune. So I got heavily into David Lynch back in 2021. I found out he made this movie called Dune, and it was based off of a book. And one of my favorite things is watching movies based off of books and like reading the book afterwards. I do it reverse. That's just how I do it. Do not judge me. Do not come at me. It is okay. It does not affect your life in any type of way. So me and my fiance did not know jack about Dune. We knew nothing. Absolutely nothing. We knew it was a sci-fi. We knew it was a based off of a book. And we knew David Lynch made Dune. And this was right before they announced Denis Villeneuve was making Dune. So we watched this. We raw dogged Dune, basically. We raw dogged the whole entire concept of Dune. Did not read a book. Did not look up anything. We just put this in the player and we watched it. And we were like, I could comprehend what the storyline basically is. I was left with some questions, but then I read the book afterwards, and it gave me a lot more context, and I love Dune. Like, the book, and I love David Lynch's Dune. I'm one of those people. And then they announced Denis Villeneuve was coming out with a Dune movie, and that was awesome. And I was riding my sandworm. I was riding high on my sandworm. Quote me on that. I was riding high on my sandworm. I went to a 5K dressed as Paul Atreides. That was the Dune awakening I had. A lot of people hate this movie. A lot of people don't like this movie. David Lynch, I watched some interviews with him talking about this, and he did not. He was like, yeah, no, it was a cash grab. Nope. I sold out. I feel David in this movie. I feel David. I really do. And I love it. Also, we got to talk about the cast. Kyle MacLachlan, which I love Kyle MacLachlan. He's such an awesome actor. He's so charming. Dale Cooper, Special Agent Dale Cooper, you can't hate him. You can't be annoyed or hate him. He's just so awesome. So, him as Paul Atreides, which was, I had no complaints. Sting is in this movie. I will show up for Sting. I will. I'm sorry. I will. I'm not sorry. Brad Dourif, come on. He has eyebrows for days in this movie. I love Brad Dourif too. He's so cool. He's such a weird little guy. Just a weird little guy. Patrick Stewart, that was a jump scare because, again, me and my fiance did not know anything about this movie. We did not know anything about Dune. He just shows up on screen and we were like that meme from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. We were like that. I would recommend David Lynch's Dune, but I know that there's something better. And if you really want to watch Dune, I do recommend Denis Villeneuve's Dune, Part 1 and Part 2. Of course, they're cinematic masterpieces. But I have such a strong love for this movie. I do. I really do. If you got the time and... Oh my god, please get in the... Thank you. If you got the time and you have access to it and you want to give it a chance, I recommend giving it a chance. But I understand a lot of people don't like that movie. A lot of people don't like it. And David Lynch didn't even really like it. And he made the movie. Riding off the coattails of that, a little bit, I want to talk about a better David Lynch movie. A more iconic David Lynch movie. My first David Lynch movie. Eraserhead. I want to talk about it so bad, so we're gonna talk about it. This was, and also I need to make a point because we're making this the Schmiterion collection video. This is my first Criterion collection release. This is my first one I ever owned. I was shown this by a couple friends. I was shown this and they were like, this movie's gonna freak you the hell out. If you want to feel unnerved, here you go. And they put it on, and 89 minutes later, I was like, this is so cool. This was so cool. My 21st birthday party was like David Lynch themed. That's how much in 2021 I was like, oh, David Lynch, that's just my personality now. And I made my friends watch this. That's what, I didn't care if I freaked them out. I didn't care if they didn't understand it. I just wanted them to take some time out of their day, celebrate my 21st with me, and watch Eraserhead. The baby in this movie, if you've never seen Eraserhead, which I'm sure a lot of you know of it, have heard of it, the baby is freaky looking. The cries and the noises it produces is unnerving. But there is a story to be told in this, and it is a very memorable one, in my opinion. I love Eraserhead. Me and my fiance have a poster of it hanging over our heads when we sleep. That's how much we like this movie. That's how much I love this movie. David Lynch doesn't talk at you. I'm about to sound like a real cinema snob right now, but David Lynch, when he's telling you a story, he doesn't talk at you. He doesn't talk to you. He doesn't tell you a story like you're an idiot. It's all looped into emotions, feelings, and that's how he tells the story. He gives you a feeling. He makes you feel that. And Eraserhead's one where you're going to be like, you're going to be unnerved. I was unnerved, but I fell in love with it. So, if you're looking for something otherworldly, Eraserhead. Another movie that I think we should discuss. The poster for Lake Mungo does not match anything to do with what this movie is about. They could have chosen a much better depiction, a much better feeling, just anything. But we're going to talk about Lake Mungo now. Similar to Ghost Watch, it's more of like a mockumentary. It's not like someone holding a camera and running through like a haunted house or whatever. It is shot like a documentary, but it's not a real documentary. Spoiler alert, it's about a family that loses their teenage daughter, suddenly. And it's the family going through motions of grief, and weird things start happening within their home that make them question whether she's giving them a message or not. The daughter's name's Alice, whether or not Alice is there and trying to relay a message to them or not. All the different family members, it's a brother and a mom and a dad dealing with this loss. And then when I was thinking about talking about this movie, something came into mind. It's very much like, and I have to bring him up again, I'm sorry. I'm actually not sorry. Rip to my main homie, David Lynch. It's very much like Twin Peaks, where Laura Palmer's death leaves something for the story. And that's what Alice's death is like. And it's not a mystery as to who killed Alice, unlike, Twin Peaks with Laura Palmer. But it is a driving force in the story. And there are signs that Alice is still there, much like how Laura Palmer, but it's not like a hauntingly, ooh, there's a ghost. Her death becomes like a character. It's really good. There's a lot of twists and turns. And when I first put this, on, I was hooked in from the start. And they have one scene that just sits with you. And it is haunting. It is absolutely haunting. But it's so worth it. And the buildup is awesome. I also don't... It says After Dark Horror Fest 4. And I thought when I bought this copy, I was like, oh, there's other movies in it. No, there's not. It's just Lake Mungo, which I'm not complaining. That's what I bought. But I think it's wild. I guess it's a horror film fest that this premiered in, and that's what is being promoted on here. Yeah, I don't know. They definitely could have chose a better cover for the DVD. Just saying. I think they came out with a new release. I think it's either like a 4K release or a Blu-ray release or whatever. And I think the box art is more applicable to the story. But upon further research of Lake Mungo, because I want to know, it came out in 2008. I was trying to figure out who made it and when it came out originally, because I found it a couple years ago. The gentleman who directed Lake Mungo, his name is, and I'm looking at my notes, Joel Anderson. Yeah, this beautiful director makes awesome stories. I mean, he hasn't made a ton of movies, but he made Lake Mungo. He made a short film. I think it's like The Rotting Woman. I could be wrong. Correction right here, please. And then he made, which I did not know this, he made Late Night with the Devil. And that's also a great movie. Look at, I bought this. Oh, no. My fiance bought this for me. Thanks, Nash, again. And it's still sealed in the package. So I was like the wrapping on it. Because I watched it when it first went to streaming. And then I was like, I am buying this in my collection. I also love David Dash McClain. He's awesome. He's so cool. I love him as Polka Dot Man. I absolutely adore him as Polka Dot Man. I love Polka Dot Man. I loved Polka Dot Man so much, I made a costume. When I worked at my local movie theater, I made a costume to wear to the screening of our screening of The Suicide Squad. Yeah, I'll show a photo. I'll pop a photo up right here. There I am. I made that. I mean, I bought the jumpsuit portion, but I had to put sleeves on it. I had to sew and glue on all the polka dots. I had to make the hat. Okay, anyway, we're not talking about my arts and crafts. We're talking about movies. What the hell is wrong with me? Oh, we've reached almost the end, which means we have to talk about my favorite movie of all time. And I invested so much money in this movie. Not even not the making of. I wasn't born when the movie came out. I'm gonna date myself here. I wasn't born when the movie came out. I was born in 2000. This movie's very well known. And if you see my Instagram, if you see any of my social media, pretty much, I reference it. I want to talk about the Blair Witch Project. I want to talk about it so bad. Can I talk about it? Even if you said no, I'm going to talk about it now. I own multiple copies of this movie, too. I love this movie with my whole entire heart. Absolutely adore it. Me and my fiance have gone on the tour for this movie multiple times. We have made friends because of this movie. We've met the director a handful of times. We go to certain screenings of this movie. I love the Blair Witch Project. I named my cat after the Blair Witch Project. Her name is Blair. I love her, and I love this movie. So when I brought her home, I said her name is Blair, and that was history. I own a DVD copy, which currently is in the glove box of my fiance's car, because we were getting it signed by Eduardo Sanchez at a drive-in showing, and I just left it in his car. Just left it in my fiance's car, because I have a Blu-ray copy signed by Eduardo Sanchez, and I have the Steelbook copy. We've met him like 2 or 3 times. Also, I have the dossier. I have a copy of 8 Days in the Woods by Matt Blazi. Matt Blazi is a friend of me and Nash's, and he is just an awesome dude. Shout out to our main man, Mr. Blazi. He's one of the reasons we just keep coming back. We've made so many friends because of this movie. We've made so many memories because of this movie. I adore everything in the movie. I adore everything that surrounds the movie. I love it. But what I don't love is Book of Shadows. I have a copy of the poster in our reading room. We have a little library instead of a dining room. You know, that's how it goes. I'd rather read a book than host anything. So I have a copy of the poster for Book of Shadows. Got it at a yard sale for like $5. And then the 2017 reboot. It's all right. But when you have the original, that is so good. Chef's kiss. I would rather go into a Blair Witch retrospective or just a whole video essay separately. I love this movie so much. I could talk about it for hours. If you happen to live under a rock, you know, for the past 25, 26 years, Blair Witch Project is about a group of college kids, Heather, Mike, and Josh, that go into the woods, and shit hits the fan, and there's a Blair Witch. There's a witch, and she's the witch of Burkittsville, formerly known as Blair, and yeah, they're basically terrorized by the Blair Witch, and it's just Josh, tell me where you are, Josh. It's so good. It's so good. I could quote the movie for hours. It's just my favorite. I own multiple copies of it, and I will continue to. The director, Eduardo Sanchez, is awesome. He's the most down-to-earth guy. When I was starstruck when I first met him, he's the guy that made the Blair Witch Project. Damn it! Like, he's gonna come in with sunglasses on, just, you know, strutting his stuff, and he was just so cool. And he's really tall. And it was really weird standing between him and my fiance, who's like 6'4", and he's taller than my fiance, and I'm 5 foot. And so it's like, if you're interested, go buy our buddy Matt's book. I'll link it down below. Here's a photo of the cover. He's a cool dude, and every year he does awesome work. If you're into touring movie locations, you're into hiking. It's a lot of hiking too. And it's just a bus full of nerds. I love that movie. That movie is such a big part of my life. And if you haven't seen it, I recommend it. And a lot of people, they either love it or hate it. But yeah, I absolutely adore the Blair Witch Project. Those are my picks. Those are my picks. I can't really put them in a bag and buy them because I already bought them. So this has been Anne in the Schmiterion closet. That's not a closet. And the majority of it was not Criterion Collection. But whatever. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for sticking around after all these years of just silence from me on this platform. And I hope to see y'all soon. I have a lot of hope. Woke up this morning and I was going to make a damn YouTube video. Whether it's me doing art or talking about movies or trying to train myself to, I don't know, do a backflip or something. I have no idea. I really wanted to make a YouTube video. I miss making YouTube videos. I love movies, and I hope they like me back. Bye.